In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Peace and blessings be upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad, his noble family, his loyal companions, and all those who follow in their footsteps until the end of time. Today, we begin a journey into the world of the unseen, not fantasy, not speculation, but a journey grounded in revelation, in the authentic words of the final messenger of God. The subject is vast, but we will start where he asked us to begin, by counting 6 events that will unfold before the hour arrives. The hadith is recorded in Sunan Abu Dawood. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Count 6 things before the hour comes. My death, the conquest of Jerusalem, a plague that will afflict you like the plague that afflicts sheep, the abundance of wealth to the extent that a man will be given 100 dinars and still be dissatisfied, a fitna that will enter every Arab household, and a truce between you and Banu Asfar which they will break, leading to a massive battle." The first sign is the death of the Prophet. When he left this world, it was not merely the passing of a leader. It was the sealing of revelation, the final curtain on the long legacy of prophethood. And when the last messenger dies, the clock begins to tick. The Prophet himself said that his death and the coming of the hour were like these 2 fingers, holding them up side by side, very close to each other. From that moment, the Ummah entered its final phase. Not one of despair, but one of urgency. The urgency to uphold the message, to carry the trust, and to remain steadfast until the end. Then came the second sign, the conquest of Jerusalem. This happened during the rule of the second caliph, Umar ibn al-Khattab. It was a bloodless victory, a moment of justice and dignity. But Jerusalem's story didn't end there. Over the centuries, the city would be lost, reclaimed, divided, and desecrated. Today, we see it again at the center of global tension. Its gates closed to worshippers, its people oppressed, and its sacredness violated. Does this mean there will be another conquest? Another moment when justice returns to the Holy Land under a righteous leader? Some scholars believe the liberation of Jerusalem once again may occur just before or during the time of Imam Mahdi. And that brings us even closer. The third sign is a plague, one that would sweep across the land like the plague that afflicts sheep. Historians and scholars often identify this with the plague of Amwas, which struck during the rule of Umar. It claimed the lives of thousands, including many noble companions. But others ask, could there be more than one plague? When COVID-19 emerged, it changed the entire world. Mosques were closed, Umrah was suspended, Hajj was limited. Millions died. And while we cannot say with certainty that this is the plague mentioned in the hadith, we cannot ignore the similarity. The world watched as invisible particles brought the mightiest nations to their knees. Could there be another plague coming? One even more devastating? Only Allah knows. But the signs are unfolding. Next comes the abundance of wealth, but with no satisfaction. Today, we live in an age where some nations measure their wealth in trillions. Technology has made the impossible accessible. Shopping, food, clothing, education, all available at the tap of a screen. People spend thousands on a phone, millions on a home, and still feel incomplete. The Prophet said a man will be given 100 dinars and still feel it's not enough. In our time, even billionaires aren't content. They want more power, more control, more reach. It's not about how much you have. It's about the void in the heart. If wealth alone could satisfy, why is anxiety, depression, and suicide rising in the wealthiest nations? The soul needs more than luxury. It needs purpose. Then comes the fitna, the trial, that will enter every Arab household. And indeed, we see it. Civil wars, sectarian strife, media infiltration, ideological confusion. In some homes, it's political. In others, it's religious extremism or complete abandonment of religion. In some, it's moral decay through entertainment. In others, it's spiritual laziness. From Libya to Yemen, Syria to Sudan, the fitna has entered homes in the form of grief, loss, confusion, and mistrust. And it's not only physical war, it's a war of the mind and heart. The Ummah is being tested. The Arab world, once the cradle of Islam, now finds itself in a constant state of instability. Why? Perhaps because the final battle is near. And that brings us to the sixth sign, a truce with the Romans, which they will betray. In the language of the Prophet, Romans referred to the Byzantines, which today is interpreted as Western powers. According to the hadith, there will be a period of alliance. Muslims in the West will work together, perhaps against a common enemy. But then, betrayal will take place. And what follows is the Malhama, the great battle. This will not be a skirmish. It will involve an army of 960,000, 80 flags, with 12,000 men under each banner. It will be the largest battle in human history. Some narrations say that this event will shake the earth and lead directly to the emergence of Imam Mahdi. Many scholars interpret this truce as symbolic of current geopolitical arrangements. There are alliances, treaties, and economic dependencies between Muslim nations in the West. But the betrayals are many: Palestine, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. Promises made, but never kept. Unity declared, but always conditional. So where do we stand now? Of the 6 signs, 5 have clearly occurred or are unfolding. The death of the prophet, already past. The conquest of Jerusalem, already happened. The plague, more than once. Abundance of wealth without satisfaction, undeniable. Fitna entering homes, we see it daily. Only one sign seems to remain: the truce and the betrayal that leads to the Great War. And once that happens, the Mahdi will rise. We don't set dates. We don't claim hidden knowledge. But the Prophet gave us these signs to prepare, not to speculate. To protect our iman, to wake up from heedlessness, and to return to Allah with sincere hearts. The arrival of Imam Mahdi is not a fantasy. It is a real event. He will be a righteous leader from the descendants of the Prophet. He will fill the earth with justice just as it had been filled with injustice. His reign will coincide with the descent of Isa, son of Maryam. Together, they will defeat the greatest enemy, the Dajjal, and restore balance to the earth. So what should we do? We purify our hearts. We reconnect with the Quran. We revive the Sunnah. We build our homes upon Tawheed and sincerity. We prepare not by stockpiling weapons, but by stockpiling good deeds. The greatest protection is taqwa. The greatest weapon is dua. These signs are not just warnings. They are mercy. They are reminders from the all-knowing that the world is temporary, and the hereafter is forever. Let us return to Allah before we return to Him. Because when these signs unfold, they will unfold rapidly. As the Prophet said, they will come like beads falling from a necklace, one after the other. And Allah knows best.